Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing another Sunburst layout. This was actually going to be a triple page layout, but the first layout took a little bit longer to put together than I initially thought, and I wanted to keep a lot of it in. So I'm actually only going to show the single photo layout, and then tomorrow I will have up the double page layout in a different video. So here I'm showing you everything I picked out to use on the double page and the single page layout. And then I will come back on and kind of sort of show you more of what I just picked for the single page layout. But at first, since I thought I was going to do all three of them in one video, I did have them all together. But here I just have a lot of the laser cuts, both from the Ultimate Kit, what I had left over, and the two laser cut packs that I had that bought separately from the Ultimate Kit. And then these pieces here are from Everywhere, which was a travel collection, and I love the orange color and the blue. And I think it's going to really help my photos pop because my photos are mainly black and blue and white. There's not a whole lot of other colors in those photos. He's wearing black swim trunks, so I think using the orange with the blue definitely will help it pop. I pulled out lots of photo corners, which is what you see here. I was trying not to lose any of them. There you go. They're on the white piece. You can see them a little bit better. And then these other larger ephemera pieces I'm going to use to map photos. That circle one is going to be used on the single photo layout that I'm going to show here in a minute. These two wood grain pieces are going to be the background for the double page layout. I do use the cut-offs that I cut off. They're about 3 inches each, and I'm going to use them to complete the single page layout. So I just already cut the background paper for the double page layout so that I could use those on this layout. And that's because I want it to coordinate with the double page and the single page. So hopefully that made sense. I'm using the page protector to kind of give me an idea of where I should cut the paper so that I can repiece it back together and use it kind of sort of the way that they already have it, but I need it to be 8.5 by 11. So of course I have to trim off edges and then piece it back together. So that's what I'm doing here. And I do cut it incorrectly. I end up recutting it, but at first I thought this was how it was going to go. I thought it was enough to cut off, but it's actually not. I need to trim off just a little bit more. But this was kind of the part that I left in that I, could have cut out. But in case you're an 8.5 by 11 scrapbooker or you've ever wanted to become one, then you can see how I do it. And this is how I cut down 12 by 12 papers to make them work for 8.5 by 11. So at first I thought I was going to go ahead and attach that stripe paper down at the bottom of the layout. I think I even ink it up and I show you, attaching it on and getting it ready to be a part of the layout. But I actually changed my mind when I start doing the other parts of the layout and decide that I want more of the brown paper instead of the black and white stripe at the bottom. I do leave the black and white stripes on the sides and at the top, and that's because I'm going to use quite a few black embellishments or laser cut pieces. So I definitely want black in the background. And I love a black and white stripe. That is probably one of my favorite papers that 49 Market makes. And whenever they have like a full sheet of it, I always buy 2 or 3 of them so that I can cut them up and use them on multiple layouts. So here I piece the background together, but I am going to pull it apart. But you'll see that I believe I leave most of that in. Here I was showing you, I'm going to put the photo in that little, oh, what is that called? The ship window or whatever, porthole, that's what it's called. I just thought it was cute, and again, this is one of my favorite photos, so I wanted to highlight it. And then I'm roughly cutting around the mixed media. I am leaving a little bit of a white edge, and I'm going to distress it. I cut off the little orange ticket that was on the back at the bottom. The rest of the paper I threw away. I already distressed the edges off camera, so I cut that part out. I don't like to do that over my project because it leaves a lot of little like shavings, little white shavings all over. So here I'm going to start tearing the paper, and then I actually get interrupted when I'm doing this, and I end up coming back and most of it is put down, not glued down. I haven't actually attached it. But I did start messing with it again, and I thought the camera was still going, and it wasn't. So there you go. It's kind of sort of in place where it's going to go, but not really. I will leave that part in when I put it together here in just a minute. I'll get started on putting it together. So I'm just showing you, I pulled off that bottom piece because that's a pretty big piece. I can probably use that on another layout later on. So I went ahead and took it and put it to the side. So here I'm going to mix in the like wordy scrap paper that I had. It's another cutoff. It was cut off from one of the other layouts that I did previously with this collection. So I still had it, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. I pretty much keep all of my scraps of 49 and Market until I'm completely done with the collection because I love their papers and they are totally usable. So here I'm piecing it together and I'm going wood grain and then wordy paper, wood grain, wordy paper, all the way up. And I do approximately about 4 inches up of that little rotating back and forth. And that's going to go at the bottom of the layout. So I have this large seashell that I'm going to place at the bottom. There's that little orange ticket that was only a little tiny piece, like not even a full inch by 2 inches. And I was able to get it on the layout, and um, it puts a little pop of orange at the bottom, and I'm going to use the other half of it at the top. So definitely don't throw your scraps away. Right there, I was just putting a piece of scrap cardstock on the back um, to cover up where I took off the black and white stripe paper. So here I'm adding some rub-ons. Those are more seashells, and they're just rub-on seashells. So I'm adding them at the bottom down here. That just gives something to look at. I wasn't being really particular about where they were going. I just wanted them to be on that large seashell or around the large seashell. So here I have another little tiny seashell that's laser cut. I'm going to place it there. I'm going to put double-sided tape on the flower, and I'm going to pop the flower up. I am going to use a few of the buttons that come in the Ultimate Kit. I didn't use any of those on the actual layouts I created before, so I still have those left. But I am going to put 9 buttons on this layout. And it's okay because I'm going to pop up this photo, not that, I'm going to pop up the photo mat. So the mixed media part and the photo. And it's going to go right in the middle, and the buttons aren't any thicker than that. So they're kind of on the thicker side, but they're not any thicker than play foam. So it's okay. In my older son's albums, his don't have a whole lot of 3D embellishments because I wasn't doing them back then. And so every once in a while, I like to put a few more layouts in his albums and add the 3D embellishments because it kind of gives you a mix of both in his albums, and that's fine. So here I'm just doing another rub-on, another seashell. This one's a little bit bigger. There's actually 2 there. The one at the bottom, you kind of can't tell it's a seashell, but color-wise it matches. It's orange, so I wanted to add it there. I'm going to add that netting that I cut in half. I'm going to add half to one side, half to the other side, and I am going to glue that down directly to the background. So I wanted to glue that down before I glue down the photo, just so that I have it in place. I'm going to add the other netting piece on the other side, and then I added a little palm tree top at the top of the photo. It wasn't a full palm tree, just the top part of the palm tree. And then this little piece here says, "Oh, my heart," which again, he's my oldest son, and at this time, he was my only son because they're 14 years apart, so it's okay. um, I'm going to add the wordy paper up here at the top. I'll add a piece of the wood grain paper also, and then I'm going to add that other little orange ticket up there at the top. So I'm going to cut that palm tree part off because it's behind the photo mat anyways, and I want to tuck it behind the "Oh My Heart." But that was kind of thinking about it after the fact. The glue was already dry. I kind of filled it back up so that I could stick it behind there and then used a little bit more liquid glue to put it down. And it's okay. It worked out fine. So I was able to pull it up without tearing it. That's always my fear, is I'm going to tear it if I pull up the liquid glue, but I didn't. So here I'm adding a few more rub-ons of the seashells, and they are on like the orangey side. They definitely have orange mixed media behind them, so that's why I'm adding them up there. These ones here were little like um, orange mix media rub-ons that were from that same pack. I cut out the little orange splatter marks, and I'm going to add them at the top to add a little bit more orange at the top. And I really like the way this layout turns out. It's almost tone on tone, with the exception of the green palm tree and the green leaves on the flowers. Everything else is either orange, black and white, or brown. And I really like the way that it turns out. Orange is probably one of my favorite colors to work with. And I don't know why, because it's not my favorite color like in real life. Like, I don't wear orange and I don't have very many orange things, but doing layouts with orange is always one of my favorites, and it turns out to be one of the best layouts that I create. So here I have Best Ever, and that was just a cute little banner. That was a laser cut, and I want to get it used, so I put it on the layout. Best ever what? Best ever day, best ever little son running around Waterworld like crazy man. He loved the water. He had no fear whatsoever. He was 3 years old here, and he ran all day long. Like, he did not take a nap, nothing. We went playing in all of the water areas that he could go in because he was a toddler. He wasn't able to go in everything, but anything that he could do, he wanted to do. And he loved it. He loves the water. Even now, he still loves the water. So here I'm adding the cute little buttons. I did put embroidery floss through the buttons as I'm doing here. I forgot to do this one. And I'm just stitching it on like you would stitch a button. I didn't do it through the paper because 49 market paper is very thick, and I wasn't sure my needle would actually go through the paper. So I just glued them on with wet glue. So here I'm showing you a little close up to it. I love the way this layout turned out. And I will have a few close-ups. And like I said, tomorrow I will have a double page layout up with the rest of the photos from the same day. And then I will also be on the Scrap Room YouTube channel with a layout for them, for their design team. So if you want to see two videos, you can check out them and check out that video. And I will see you in the next video here. Please like and subscribe. Bye.